Thank you. Allow me to take this opportunity first to acknowledge Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, for honoring our invite and also participating in this very important session. We acknowledge that the business forum is a critical component of the COMESA, because as government, we may have the best policies, but at the end of the day, we need the business people and the associations to make the connections and to make the region work. So we really want to salute you for making time to open this session. The Secretary General of COMESA, Chileshe Kapwepwe, the Chairperson of the Council of Ministers, Dr. Hassan Kibea, development partners who are present here, distinguished representatives from the private sector, and the Chairperson of the Council of Business, Mr. James Chimwanza, upon whom I want to borrow all the protocols that you observed. I think his was the most extensive one. And thank you very much for being here. So it is our profound honor first to hold this summit, and also to confirm that it comes at a time when both trade and investments are facing quite some turbulence. And I say this in recognition of the fact that when you look at global trade today, there are so many uncertainties, from wars across other parts of the world to tariffs that have made international trade more unpredictable and sometimes unstable. And one of the areas that have been cited as possible solutions for stabilizing that is actually regional trade. At COMESA, we're at about 14% intra-COMESA trade, a number which we acknowledge is way below our potential. And I think our conversations today must revolve around what we must do to make it possible for goods from Tanzania to come to Kenya, of Kenya to Zambia. And I think that conversation must not only be academic, we must go to the real issues that continue to hamper trade between ourselves. Not too long ago, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, the President of Uganda, visited Kenya. And I think in their conversation with our President, the issue of the time it takes to cross the border from Kenya to Uganda was raised. The following week we visited there, and talking to the truck drivers and the business people, on average it would take like 4 to 5 hours on a good day, but at times even a day before you can cross. So if you have to cross 4 borders and you have to spend 4 or 5 hours on each, then if you look at the total loss, then it makes our region very uncompetitive. So among the things we must talk is how to make it seamless for our goods to move from Zambia to Kenya, and the unnecessary stops that you have created must be abolished. On the movement of people, again, there can be no business when our people are not talking. There is no value of talking about trade when I cannot go to Zambia with ease, check the goods, agree with the banks and the people, and come back. So again, the movement of people across the entire region, I think, becomes very important. I am happy to note that Kenya has abolished visas for African countries. So if you want to visit Kenya, you do not need to make any elaborate plans for you to come here. You need a product from Mombasa, from Nakuru, and anywhere. You just need to board the next plane, and we will be able to receive you, and you can have, things going through. So I think as a person in charge of trade, I really want to emphasize on the issue of movement of people and goods, because when these two are not there, it doesn't matter what else we are going to input. And I think much must be done to open those areas. I also note that the theme of this year is leveraging on digitization to deepen regional value chains for sustainable and inclusive growth. Again here, we are happy as Kenya that we have made significant inroads in the area of digital penetration. Almost every major town in Kenya, we have been able to connect with fiber, which means a farmer can be able to produce a product, put it online, put a photo, put everything, and that way we can be able to trade. And because trade is now becoming more digital than physical, then the issue of ensuring that we have digital connection across the whole country, and by extension also in other parts of the COMESA, becomes important. And I also want to add that beyond the infrastructure are the people. And I'm happy to note that most of our universities also, we have incorporated the issue of digital skills so that our children can be able to trade and work in the world that is coming tomorrow. On the area of financial transactions, you know that Kenya is the home of M-Pesa, and M-Pesa is now going regional in Tanzania, Uganda, and most of these other countries. And I think this is really the area we need to work together, that we don't all need to duplicate services. So if you have a solution that's already working in Uganda or any other country, maybe that solution can be adopted. And since M-Pesa is working even globally, I see M-Pesa as a solution for many of the things that you're trying to do. And I think some of these issues, if they're replicated at the continental level, we can all work towards making it a better place for all of us. Allow me also to quickly mention on the issue of the horticultural event we had yesterday. Kenya is a major player in the area of horticulture and flower, and we had very live conversations yesterday. Still, a lot needs to be done. We have talked about post-harvest losses. We have talked about cold storage. So if you're moving a perishable commodity across the border and you're spending 5 hours, there's no cold facility, then the post-harvest becomes a major issue. And I think one of the areas that we must really invest in is the infrastructure in cold storage, both in our airports, in our ports, in all our big towns, so that when you're thinking of any of these commodities that fall within the perishable category, you have networks that can allow us to work across that entire space. Lastly, is also to note that within the COMESA region, we have nearly 600 million people. If you look at that number and you compare with other continents or subcontinents, you will realize it's bigger than even the entire US market. But the problem is we probably have not seen the full potential that lies with that kind of a market. And as we improve trade, also allow me to say that areas like tourism, if you look at what percentage of tourists within the COMESA say visit Kenya, the number is in the single digits. Yet, we will all plan our journeys, maybe on holiday sometimes, to capitals far away from where we are, in places of temperatures sometimes -10, over 40, and leave a Mombasa beach that is an attraction to the whole world. Leave a Masai Mara that is a world heritage site. So, and I can say that of Victoria Falls in Zambia, and I think all those places that we can do. So I think it's time for Africa and COMESA to think local, to think regional, and together we can move. Thank you, and may God bless you.